Hi kids, I'm getting ready to mount my body to this frame, and I've been watching YouTube, which we all do, and I've been watching people struggle with how they mount a body to a frame, and they seem to get off on the wrong foot. Listen, I don't claim to be an expert, but I thought I'd throw in my 2 cents. The tub has got mounting points inside the passenger cabin. I call the tub the passenger cabin. I don't include the back or the front, the tub. And these 4 points on the other side are all in one plane. And they're in a pressing, which is dropped down about 1/4 of an inch net. This is on one plane. This is all on one plane. This is the part that you've got to get right first. The mounting points on the frame are likewise, or should be, all in one plane. But alas, they are not, because these frames aren't built very well. I mean, I think the frame is a masterpiece, frankly. A lot of people think it's a piece of crap. It's a masterpiece. It's very light for what it does. You have to take your hat off to them. So what I do is, I determine with pads, and this isn't the final number of pads I'm going to use, but I determine with pads what clears the protuberances on the frame and gets me to level. And it happens to be whatever it is. It doesn't matter. This is academic. We've got 2 of the original equipment pads here, and we have 2 that I've made myself out of boiler gasket, which is a very good material. We want to know that it is level this way, and we want to know that it is level this way, because these 4 points on this frame must be on one plane, like the 4 points that are on the body. When you get this to where these 4 points are exactly level with each other, diagonally and front and back and side to side, then take out an equal number of pads to take into consideration that the mounting points on the tub are sunk down a little bit, because you want the tub to be as close to the frame as it is practical, realizing that as you mount the very back, that's going to affect your door gaps. So I've got 2 original equipment pads here and 2 red pads. I've got 3 pads here. I've got 3 pads over there, and I think I've got 3 original equipment pads and 2 red pads over there. The dimension on the tub, where the mounting points are, it drops down about like yay. Take out the identical number of pads all the way around, then put your tub on the frame and bolt down the 4 mounting points, the one with 3 bolts here, the one with 4 bolts here. Mount that down tight to the frame, and then see where everything else is. Usually the front is easily adjustable. It's usually the back right here. It might be too dark to see, but it's this back corner here. If this is touching the metal on the frame, and if your door gap is too tight, then you have to elevate the tub equally on all 4 points to be able to give you the room it takes to crank this end down and then have your door gaps fit. You know, the doors are like a cork. They fit into a tapered hole. The doors don't fit initially to the body panels. The doors fit in the hole. That's what you have to look at. Now this tub was cut in half and new stuff in the middle, so I got the door hole just right. And then when my body panels go on, then I make those adjustments. So I'm going to bolt my body. These inside mounts in the tub, which are all in one plane, I'm going to bolt them down to the 4 points in the middle of the frame, which I know are all in one plane because I've manipulated it here. And then I'm going to see where everything else is. And if I need to adjust the gap on the door in the back, then I will elevate these 4 points an equal amount, and that will allow me to have the airspace in the back to crank the back down. I think if you do this, you'll have a good result. Don't just throw it on there and say, well, put one here, tighten it down, take one out, tighten it down. I mean, it'll drive you crazy. Start in the middle and work your way out. Another thing too is that there are all these various points that get pads and spacers and all this. It's a very, very inexact way to do it. You want the pressure that's on this point with whatever is in here to be the same as the pressure that's here, that's here, that's everywhere. In other words, you want the body points to all be equally tightened down on the frame, as opposed to maybe the middle tight, maybe this is tight but it's really got an airspace on it, maybe that one's too high but you tighten the hell out of it anyway. You have to do a careful job of it, because a lot of the flex that's in the frame is caused by bodies that aren't put on correctly. The body has a great stiffening effect on the frame. In this area right here that people seem to think is kind of weak, if you consider that the body bolts here, there's this sheet metal structure, it bolts here, it spans this spot, and it bolts here, there's a lot of strength that's added to this. So don't underestimate what that is. The frame has got to have a little bit of flexibility in it. Otherwise, the car is undrivable. The suspension isn't set up for a completely rigid structure. So, yes, these things are flexible. It doesn't seem like it's right if you drive a Honda, but yes, they're flexible. They were designed that way. And to be quite honest, I think that that Triumph did a great job. This thing doesn't weigh very much, and with a few small improvements, you can make it very strong and functional. I've strengthened this one. Kind of hard to see, the light's kind of bad here. I've strengthened this one. Pins are reinforced. The underside of the rear bridge is done. This has got rust repair in it. All the rust repair was done in 14 gauge. All this is 14 gauge. All of this was repaired underneath here, 14 gauge. So this is a nice frame. This is a nice frame. I set it up when I did this frame. You have to excuse my shop, it's a mess. When I set this up, I did it on a table. I have another frame on here, but I haven't had a chance to work with it. But I set it up on a table, and on the table, I'm able to draw out these dimensions. A rod through the front of the towers in the front will give you a datum point, and you simply measure off of this, transpose all the drawings out of the handbook on here, as you see here, and then go ahead and do all of your work. So I'm going to do this frame when it gets a chance. If it's got crap all over it, I'm just too busy. I've got an original hub puller, by the way. But when I get a little bit of time, I want to do this one too. I've started to do some of it, but it's just a matter of not being here enough to get things going. But anyway, so take this to heart. Consider when you start to mount your body that the middle is a single plane. The tub in the middle is a single plane. Get these all level and right. Subtract the number of pads for the little reveal that's on the sheet metal on the tub. Bolt her down and see where you are. I think you have a good outcome if you do that. Good luck with it. See you.